Hello, everyone. I am Senator Ed Markey, and I want to thank you for having me join with you today to celebrate this 52nd Earth Day. And as we come together virtually on this special day, let us all acknowledge that the challenges before us are great, but that they are not insurmountable. Our enemies in the fossil fuel industry are powerful, but they are not unstoppable. And though the threat of climate change is an existential one, I know for certain that you and I are capable of organizing a movement in the streets and in the halls of power all around the world to confront this crisis and to build a just and a livable future for everyone. And as we come to terms with this reality, a reality of great challenges shared with limitless opportunities, let us also come to terms with a simple truth. The climate crisis, environmental pollution, and the devastation of our planet is facing does not and will not affect all of us equally. Black, brown, and indigenous people, the working class immigrants, the people of color who have faced generations of systemic discrimination are facing a much more severe and dangerous climate future. Redlining, lending disparities, hiring discrimination, divestment, industrial pollution and waste, and other systemic attacks on the health of the environment and communities of color have contributed to this grim reality. It is an indisputable fact that black and brown people have been made to breathe dirtier air and drink dirtier water than white people. And we know for certain that flooding, wildfires, superstorms, and other climate disasters will wreak the most lethal and devastating havoc on poorer communities and communities of color. So it is our duty as activists, organizers, political leaders, and people who believe in protecting and saving the earth to listen to the voices of marginalized communities who are calling out for environmental justice, to direct resources, aid, climate action, and resiliency to those communities, and to respond to the threat they are facing from climate change at the scale that this crisis demands. To tackle problems of this magnitude, we need bold action now, a coordinated rejection of the status quo, and a decision to act today will save lives in the long run. COVID-19 has made it painfully clear the desperate need for broader systemic reform, including a safety net that provides health care and economic security for everyone. That same systemic shift is exactly how we can bend our carbon emissions curve and help avoid the worst climate impacts for the most vulnerable. This is exactly what the Green New Deal calls for, a transformation of our economy and our democracy with the ideals of justice, equity, and science entrenched in every single policy that we create. The Green New Deal resolution that Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and I introduced in 2019 helped launch a revolution that has spurred calls for a massive 10-year mobilization to create clean energy jobs and transform our climate, our economy, and our democracy. And before Congress today is a bill I wrote with Congresswoman Cori Bush of Missouri to map out, study, and address environmental injustice all across this country. On this Earth Day, I join you all to reiterate my call for bold and ambitious action to combat the climate crisis and to save lives in the communities which have been pushed to margins, discriminated against, and made to suffer the worst impacts of pollution and environmental destruction for far too long. Tackling the climate crisis and addressing this history of injustice will not be easy. But if we are brave, if we are in solidarity with each other, and if we believe in our ability to provide a Green New Deal for all people in this country, we will chart a new course to a more prosperous and secure future, leaving no one behind. And with the Democratic Congress and President Joe Biden in the White House, we are reclaiming our leadership of the most important issue facing humankind. And with all of you organizing around the principles of the Green New Deal, jobs, justice, and climate action, I know that we can finally get to work building that just and livable future which all people and all future generations need and deserve. So thank you for celebrating with me, for organizing with each other, and for fighting every day for our planet and for people everywhere. Together, we will deliver environmental justice in our country and our world, and we will make true the promise of a Green New Deal. You are the leaders. You are the ones who have created this movement, and now we must move our country to action so that we lead the rest of the world towards ensuring that we deal with this greatest of all issues, that is the healthcare, the economic, the environmental, the national security, and the moral issue of our time, the climate crisis. Thank you all so much for everything that you are doing.